Hello. Oh my gosh, we're here. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and the beautiful Clubhouse. So let me know if we are, there's an echo or anything like that. But so honored that everyone is here to join us. I'm Jackie Castro-Cooper, a holistic alternative physical therapist. And I have the beautiful Tina Hong. Okay, we're going to get, I think we're getting an echo, but I have the beautiful Tina Hong. I've known Tina for over a year now. She co-hosts Clubhouse with me, but I fell in love with Tina because the way she treats her clients is like I've never seen before. I'm going to put up her little graphic here actually while I talk to you, because then I'm going to forget. So here it is. So, Tina, like I said, is a mind health and habit coach. And that's extremely important because when you lean into the formation of our habits, that is when we can see change, right? And I also love, Tina, that you focus on the digestive system like me, the gut and brain axis. It's very hard to find people that do that. Also, the adrenal fatigue and stress, food addictions, and also the anti-inflammatory response. So that's why I love you, Tina, because you're really making the world of a difference with your clients. And I love what you share. Also, a couple of weeks ago, I was on Instagram and I saw this come up on Instagram. And that's why we're doing the interview today, because breaking up with sugar is something that is so vitally important in my life as a physical therapist, because I deal with chronic pain. I also deal with the gut and brain axis, and I also deal with neurological deficits, right? And sugar affects all of those in some way or form. So welcome, Tina. Did you want to say a little hello? Whoops, you got to unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody. Hello to my Facebook audience, and also Goodness Multiply, my Instagram audience, and to Jackie and all our friends. Thank you so much for sharing this discussion with me today.
Absolutely. I'm grateful that you said yes as well, because in my book, I happen to be talking about sugar. So here's my book, and I'm going to read to you page 89. To put everything together, because I finished talking about something called PNI, psychoneuroimmunology, and the HPA axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. And then I explained it all very quickly. To put everything together, if your gut is not working well, then it affects your mental health and many other regions as well. How can we heal our gut? Well, the research shows that by staying away from processed foods, eating more plant-based foods, avoiding sugar, and drinking filtered water that takes out contaminants such as fluoride and chemicals, your gut and brain axis will heal. And then you'll be able to poop every day the size of a banana, because that's how we get rid of toxins. So that's what I talk about all the time with my patients and my clients. So I wanted to talk about that. And I'm going to be actually re-releasing this book on March 1st. And I'm really excited because on March 22nd, the journal workbook, The Power of Self-Care, Self-Love, is going to launch March 22nd. And guess what? I'm going to show it to you real quick before we go on, because there it is. First time I'm showing it to everybody.
I love it.
Thank you. That's going to be March 22nd. So that's the journal book cover. But, I just wanted to also say, Tina, that I was doing a little bit more research to prepare for today. And so the United Brain Association was saying that unhealthy levels of blood sugar have an adverse effect on the brain. Excessive levels can lead to cognitive decline. So that's why I named this today The Hidden Dangers of Sugar, because people just think about increasing weight, which is what you work with as well, decreasing fat, which is extremely important, but we don't think about the brain and its connection to sugar and its effects. And they go on to say diets high in sugar reduce the production of what's called BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor. And what it does, BDNF connects the neurons in the brain. And when we don't have the BDNF or not enough of it, then the brain becomes impaired, which leads to Alzheimer's and dementia. And then one more quote, the Harvard Health organization said that the increased effects of sugar will increase blood pressure, inflammation, weight gain, diabetes, and fatty liver disease, which all link to increased heart attack and stroke. So I just wanted to point that out because that's why I asked you here, Tina. We need your help. So help us, Tina. Give us the 3 ways that we can decrease our addiction to sugar. And you got the floor, my darling.
Yeah. So before I get into the 3 ways of letting go of sugar, I just want to add to what Jackie said is, there are a lot of hidden dangers beyond just weight gain with sugar. So everybody thinks, oh, well, I just need to cut down on sugar just so I can lose weight. So it's not just about weight loss, but when you are on chronic sugar addiction, you are actually weakening your immune system and you're raising bad cholesterol and you're increasing inflammation, like Jackie said. And not only that, you're actually depleting vitamins and minerals in your diet. So no matter how healthy you think you're eating, if you have high blood sugar on a day-to-day, all day long basis, you are depleting what you are eating in terms of healthy foods. So, basically there's many different aspects of why sugar is actually bad for you, way beyond weight loss. So, so I wanted to get into a little bit about, some other aspects of sugar addiction. So, in addition to all of those things we just discussed in terms of the gut brain axis and why sugar is so bad for you, it actually throws off your hormonal balance. So if you are highly stressed, chronically stressed all the time, you are raising your cortisol. And when you are raising your cortisol, no matter what you think the stress is coming from, whether it's physical stress or emotional stress, and we know we've been through a lot of stress the last couple of years with COVID, if you are chronically stressed, you are automatically raising your blood sugar on a day-to-day basis. So what you're doing is when you're raising your blood sugar, you are storing body fat. And that's kind of what's related to insulin resistance and also breaking down of the other 2 hormones, your ghrelin hormone and your leptin hormone actually gets broken when you're constantly having sugar. And I thought this was.
I love that you just said that because you and I focus on the mindset. We focus on the breathing, which decreases the stress levels, the cortisol and the adrenaline, gets you back into that or removes you out of that fight, flight, freeze response. I mean, literally just breathing, taking deep breaths decreases the amount of pressure on the vagus nerve. That's another beautiful thing that I want to talk about next time. But yes, thank you so much for bringing that up. Meditation, taking deep breaths, moving. I love that you bring that up. Thank you.
Absolutely. And, we have mentioned before, the American Psychiatric Association really talks about what are the attributes and behaviors of addiction. And when you look at addiction to drugs or pharmaceutical medications, addiction to anything really, the key attributes or behaviors of addiction are tolerance, needing increased doses of the chemical or the effect that you're trying to achieve through the addiction. And you have withdrawal symptoms. You actually you are persistently wanting and you are giving up on important activities to get it. So these are attributes and behaviors of addiction. So if you are demonstrating some of these behaviors when it comes to sugar and refined carbohydrates. What this means is you are addicted, and it's changing your brain chemistry. And that's really what I want to get to. It's changing your brain chemistry. So when you are actually on sugar, and that's not just pure sugar, it's hidden sugars in foods, in processed foods, in packaged foods, in convenience foods, and they also sweeten up foods in a lot of to-go foods, like foods away from home. So if you are significantly not if you're living a life of packaged convenience and processed foods, you're automatically getting more sugar than you actually need, and it affects your mood. That's the thing. Over the last couple of years, we have seen unprecedented stress and anxiety and depression amongst everybody, not just the mentally ill, but basically everybody has been undergoing stress. So when we are going to sugar for comfort, we're actually increasing our anxiety, we're increasing episodes of depression, and episodes of stress, which, obviously is this endless cycle of blood sugar spikes and roller coasters that attribute to how we feel in terms of our mood.
Yeah, and that sugar spikes makes us feel good. It's the dopamine.
Right.
It's so hard to get off. So, what are we gonna do? What are the 3 ways, my wonderful
Yes.
coach Tina? What are we gonna do?
The 3 ways, there's many different ways. We really need to look at getting unhooked from sugar by looking at diet, lifestyle, and your habits. But one of the first ways is going through an elimination diet. And just like if you go to a functional medicine doctor, you go through a series of food eliminations to see if you have any food sensitivities. And everybody is going to be a little bit different. But when you actually go through at least 6 weeks of food eliminations, meaning eliminating processed foods, eliminating grains, eliminating dairy, you actually start clearing a lot of inflammation and symptoms, chronic pain symptoms, even joint pain, and IBS or digestive symptoms. And when you reduce carbohydrates, refined carbohydrates, like those bagels and muffins and cookies and all of the bakery items and the processed foods, you actually start clearing away a lot of those symptoms. So an elimination diet is number 1. Out of sight, out of mind, not having that stuff around.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that you bring that up, because it's when you want to do an elimination diet. I actually did one 2 years ago because I had this rash because I was eating too much sugar at a certain point, and this rash just came on. And I went to see my healthcare practitioner, and she's Betty Sue O'Brien. You know her. She's part of our Women's Health Forum that we do in April, which hopefully we're going to be doing it again this year. But it was 6 weeks, and it was so hard. But Tina, we are recommending, I know you recommended as well, to not do it by yourself. You've got to do this with a healthcare practitioner. Just do it with someone, because elimination diets are tough, and you want to be able to log things down. And I love that you talked about food allergies, because I didn't know that there's a difference between food sensitivity tests and food allergy tests. So there is a difference, which we can go back at another time. But I just wanted to remind everybody that the number 1 thing is going on an elimination diet, just to see if it's going to help you. And for my patients, for the past 16 years, when they decrease the sugar, their pain decreases as well. So thank you for bringing that up, Tina.
Absolutely. And so we know that it takes about 21 days to create a new habit. And when it comes to elimination diets, 21 days is good enough as a start. But a lot of times, people who've been on chronic sugar addiction and having sugar on a daily basis from the minute you wake up to the time you go to sleep, pretty much all day long, going through that insulin roller coaster of up and down crashes, of blood sugar, um, you know, you really basically want to crowd in nutrient dense foods during that time. And we know for a lot of people who have been hooked to sugar for a long time, it takes a long time to actually heal your gut. So if you've been on pharmaceutical medications and you're constantly in this, you know, thinning your threshold of good health through, pain or trauma or, pharmaceutical medications, illnesses, you're stacking one thing on top of another. And basically, your threshold in your immune system threshold gets thinner and thinner and thinner. So, what you want to do is really give yourself as much time to clear away all those symptoms in at least 21 days. But some people, it takes 3 to 6 months to actually get truly unhooked from sugar. What happens in people who have the need to get unhooked from sugar, what I've learned is um, your palate begins to change. So most of the foods that you're eating are sweetened. So the standard American diet is already too sweet. So um, we our palate, our tolerance for sweet is very high. So when you actually go through an elimination diet, you start tasting food again. You start tasting real food again. And that's when you know that the transition is happening, that you're getting unhooked, because sugar addiction is really it's a brain chemistry thing, it's physiological, it's also very emotional.
Yes, I love it, love it, love it, because your palate comes alive, and
Mhm.
the cells in the mouth, you know, they change. I think it's like every 10 days. So
Mhm.
wonderful. So that's number one, going on an elimination diet for 6 weeks and getting some a healthcare practitioner to hold your hand during that, because it's really hard. And
Mhm.
what's number two?
Number two is really increasing your appetite for life and reducing stress. As I mentioned, when you're under chronic stress, your fight or flight mode, and your adrenals are aroused, your adrenals are tapped out on a chronic basis, your blood sugar is naturally going to rise all the time. So, increasing your appetite for life means crowding in the things that you love, that's going to give you peace, that's going to give you rest and restoration. Those things are so critical, such a critical factor to getting unhooked from sugar. And reducing stress is directly correlated to sugar addiction.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's why I
Mhm.
love you, because you have helped so many people to not just lose up to, 50 to 100 pounds, but you're also involved in the root cause of the addiction to sugar, the addiction to food, and so on. And you introduce, like I do, a lifestyle, returning to creating joy, because only we can do that. So
Mhm.
going outdoors, I remember you were the first one to say forest bathing.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, what's that? It's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's when you go out and you walk in the forest. And I'm like, oh, I love that forest
Mhm.
bathing. Or you and I talk about grounding, going outside barefooted,
Mhm.
getting
Mhm.
some sun on the top of the head, but really joy, creating that joy, that community with other women or other men, really creating a sense of why am I here in this life? It's not just about eating well and not eating sugar. It's all about, am I having fun? Am
Mhm.
I seeking companionship with my friends? You are awesome because you play golf.
Mhm.
I see you playing golf and you have this community of golf people. You're actually doing a 6 week golf health week or something. And I absolutely love
Mhm.
that. Everybody
Mhm.
follow Tina on Instagram. She's amazing. So,
Mhm.
yes, thank you for bringing it up. So, that's number two, increasing your appetite for life. Love it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
So,
really important, actually, because then you're not just going to the comforts of sugar and refined carbohydrates. Number three is really getting support. And, you wonder why Alcoholics Anonymous exists. People who are addicted to alcohol or having abusing alcohol as a drug have difficulty getting unhooked, stopping completely, going cold turkey.
Mhm.
So same thing. When you are addicted to sugar, basically you can't live 24 hours without it. And so how are you going to go about that alone? It's very difficult. And a lot of my clients, when I work with my clients, it's really about pattern interruption. And as a coach, I get involved into observing their patterns of daily living. And when we interrupt, the patterns that don't serve us, that's when we can actually start beginning to make changes. So, getting a coach, being a part of a group, getting accountability is really huge. And crowding in, again, the appetite for life, eliminating all the things that out of sight, out of mind, the things that might tempt you, but also crowding in nutrient dense foods is really critical to success of letting go of that sugar, really getting to a place of breaking up in a healthy way, and really taking life back into your own hands, because there's no reason why you should be addicted to sugar. It's there's so many benefits of not being hooked. And just a part of it is awareness, part of it is self-love, right? Jackie, you talk
Woo!
about self-love in your book.
I
It's
know.
about loving yourself more, to know that, that sugar is actually a chemical, and it's a toxin that's actually affecting your physiology, your emotional state of being, and your mental health. So hopefully that is helpful. We'll take any questions too, I guess.
Yes, if anybody has any questions. Also, we are on Clubhouse, so I know everybody's seeing Tina's mic is muted, but that was because we were getting an echo. So you're hearing my voice, Jackie, and then you're also hearing Tina's voice as well. But two questions for you, Tina. What about water intake? Would that help to decrease the sugar craving? And also fat. Like for me, it helps me to have like no sugar, organic peanut butter, so something healthy and fat in the morning, and that curbs appetite. So what do you think about those two things?
Absolutely. Hydration is a huge piece of it. Most people don't drink enough. They don't drink half their body weight in one day. And that's what you should be doing, drinking half your body weight in one single day in ounces. And so the minute you wake up, to the time you go to sleep, it can be really misleading, in terms of hunger, in terms of thirst. So when we are hungry, emotionally hungry, when we're actually dehydrated, it shows up as if we need that sugar. We need that kind of wake up call. And that's what sugar feels like. It's kind of a wake up. It kind of enlivens you, because it's a blood sugar spike that's rushing to your brain, and that affects your physiology. So, yes, absolutely. Hydration is super key. You should be drinking half your body weight throughout the course of the day. What I like to do is have like a 20-ounce glass or a container, a drinking vessel. And literally, some people don't even like the taste of water, but putting water, like make it spa water, make it enjoyable. Put organic cucumbers in it or lemon in it, and have a moment of actually hydrating every single cell in your body throughout the day. That
I,
could definitely help.
I love it. I'm trying to type in, can you hear me, Tina?
Yeah.
I'm trying to type into the comments. I'm so sorry I don't have the link up, but I want everyone to see in the comments there. I'm going to go ahead and bring me back. It says, go watch the TEDx video. It's how sugar affects your brain. It's really important. Our weight is important. Our fat levels are important, of course. But it's really important that we understand that sugar can cause and is a direct link, which studies are coming out now more and more, to cognitive decline. So Alzheimer's, like we talked about earlier, and dementia. So it's really important that we understand that. That's why when you were talking a couple of weeks ago and you brought up that graphic, it was so important to me because as a physical therapist, I treat everyone holistically. And that's why I wrote my book as well, because when you care and love yourself, you start to realize that the foods that you're eating are not something that your brain needs or your gut needs. And so that's the flip of it. And so that TEDx that I just posted, it's just go to Google TEDx, How Sugar Affects Your Brain by Nicole Avena. And I'm sorry, I don't have the direct link, but go ahead and check that out. And I did want to say, thank you so much, Tina. Tina is offering 60 minutes for anybody who is interested. Here is the link. It's bit.ly/unstoppable health breakthrough. So that's a gift for everybody. If you're interested in talking to Tina, and from the bottom of my heart, Tina, I am so grateful that you are brave enough to talk about sugar and its effects with everyone. You know, all the time you're ready to just be on board and be of service and lead with love. And that's what I really care about. So thank you so much for doing that. Anything else you want to say, Rita? I'm sorry, Tina, before we finish?
Well, let's see. I'm happy to take questions. One thing I wanted to mention is Americans today consume about 150 pounds of sugar a year. And the American Heart Association recommends only 9 teaspoons for men in one day and only 6 teaspoons for women, and maybe 3 to 5 for children. Do you know what the average consumer or American is consuming in one single day? Anywhere from 20 to 30 teaspoons of sugar in one day. That's on the light side. You start adding the refined carbohydrates in terms of the bagels and the breads and the pastas and the white starchy foods. You start incorporating all of those. It really does stack up. And it's like putting propane, like throwing propane on an existing fire. If you're already in fire, those sugars and those refined carbohydrates is blowing things up internally. So, we are consuming significantly more sugar than we actually need or is necessary. And I invite you to that discussion. I invite you to that one-on-one with me to see how you can actually transition your palate, transition your habits, so that you can get unhooked long term and actually get your body metabolically on fire to actually lose body fat, and bring that inflammation down so that you can move better. Like Jackie's healing people, moving better. But she's coming in the stage later on where people are really having difficulty with mobility issues, right? So you're kind of coming in later in the stage. What we need to do is we got to take our own health in our own hands. We have a choice to make from the very beginning. Nobody's going to save you. The doctors aren't going to save you. The hospitals aren't going to save you. This is about you taking responsibility for you and for your health. And it's about, the difference between 20 years down the line. If you're 90 years old, okay, like say if you're 70 or you're 60 years old, in your 80s, do you want to be ballroom dancing? Or on the other hand, do you want to be in a walker or in a wheelchair? Right, Jackie? I mean, like what you do today feeds the next 20 years of your life. And what I want to be doing is at 80 years old and 90 years old is ballroom dancing. I know you would be too, Jackie.
We're going to be dancing together, my darling. So hopefully everyone is going to join us as well. So I'm gonna take your link off in a minute. So everybody, bit.ly / unstoppable health breakthrough. If you want a free 60 minutes with Tina, thank you so much for that generous offer. I'm going to go ahead and put up my banner now. So if anybody wants to get my free newsletter that I do every month, that'll take you to my subscription. And Also, I'm going to be starting Jackie's community in April. I'm going to be doing a private membership group on Facebook and so I'm really excited about that. It's going to be just $15 a month, but I'm going to be going there live once a week, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of information. It's going to be like a little community that I'll be available to once a week, but I'm also going to be bringing guests like Tina and a lot of other people, because I don't know everything myself. That's why I surround myself with Tina and people that are much more intelligent than I am, and who are really change makers and who are leading with love and being of service. So that's what the community is going to be all about. And so Tina, are you still doing your Vitality Vault by any chance?
Yeah, Vitality Vault is an application-based group mastermind for those people who have gone through eliminations, but are seeking additional accountability long-term, so over a 12-month program. But I invite you to have that free one-on-one discussion with me, because that's where I take a full health history intake, and we really kind of discover what's going on in terms of, is it your lifestyle? What's really getting in the way? And what might be missing that you might have not even been thinking about before. So it's a great opportunity to take a look at your overall diet, your level of stress, and all of your habits, and how that may be contributing to your weight loss goals.
Awesome. And if you're on Clubhouse with us, we're going to finish in a few minutes our live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. But we're going to continue Clubhouse for just a few more minutes, just to see if you guys have any questions for Tina or myself. I do want to just remind everyone, I am re-releasing my book. There it is. It's also going to be on hardcover. So it's going to be hardcover, soft cover, and on Kindle. So there that is. That's going to be March 1st. We're re-releasing it. And then 22 days later, we're going to release the journal workbook, The Power of Self-Care, Self-Love. So I'm really grateful for everybody who supports me. But this is really going to be a life-changing journal. It's 401 pages. So it's going to be for an entire year. And I set it up with a lot of really cool things. So that's March 22nd that it's going to launch. So I'm trying to find our little music. So StreamYard now has music. So Tina and I are going to be exiting out of our live presentation and then going into Clubhouse. And we're going to put on some music right now. I don't know if everybody can hear it, but Tina and I are big dancers because we want to enjoy life. And when we're 90 years old, we're going to be ballroom dancing. So anyway, so here we go. We're going to dance it out. Here we go, everybody. Come on. Woo! Thank you, Tina. I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
Okay, we're going to keep going on Clubhouse. Love you guys. Let's connect.
You on Clubhouse.
Love and light to everyone.